It's a nice little Christmas morning out there, and Merry Christmas to all the celebrators, and just, well, Happy Monday to all the non-celebrators, you damn heathens. But today being a more or less, boring day as far as Bitcoin goes, I figured today would be a good day to kind of check out on some of the alts. In fact, the way that I'll be doing or handling this video, and maybe some videos to come depending upon the reaction from this, is just seeing what the biggest movers have been really in the past 24 hours. And there's been some major fucking movers actually right here. We can see Axie Infinity 2020 and 2021 shitcoin moving up 32% in the last 24 hours. Kind of insane. Another 50% in the past 7 days. Wow. Quant going up about 20% in the past 24 hours, and symbol SEI, which I believe we covered on a video, on one of the request videos, maybe a couple weeks ago, also about 13%. So I figured we'd just do a quick check-in on these. Again, Bitcoin more or less sideways. What we said after, Thursday is, hey, Bitcoin's chance was on Thursday to go to the upside. If it wasn't going to go up then probably just going to be sideways into the end of this year, maybe a little bit of downside as well. And it's kind of where we're at as of right now. So let's check in first things first with the biggest mover of the day, which is going to be Axie Infinity. We can see right here on the Oracle Pro, from the chart prime indicators, did fire off a strong buy signal. What was this, on Friday? Yeah, and this one's just following through right here. I think up about 40% since that did happen, which is kind of insane. Yeah, about 42, 43% as of right now. And does this one have more to go after a signal like that? Probably yes. So with that in mind, we should check in on some of the higher term timeframes. In this case, we can check in the 5-day, the weekly, maybe even the monthly as well. I mean, there's not a whole hell of a lot of history here, but I think there's just enough. And on Axie Infinity, we can see that this one actually is bucking the long-term trend. Very likely to put in a move somewhere around these January highs that we did see from about a year ago now in the low / mid-teens. Let's say somewhere between about 14 to maybe as much as $17 at a 382 fib right there. But ultimately, this one is seemingly in the process of a macro reversal. Like, it seems like this one actually has seen quote unquote the low. We have seen significant and several drives of bullish divergence on the weekly RSI here. 1, 2, 3, 4 drives come off the low, which is typically what we do see in long-term macro reversals. So, generally speaking, the direction here is probably up. There's gonna be pullbacks along the way. Obviously, we're looking at a weekly time frame. That doesn't mean that every tick, every second, every day is just gonna be straight to the upside. But generally, probably gonna be moving up and to the right here, with the next sort of area of interest, like I said, somewhere between, like, let's say 14 and $17. Probably a bit of a short-term stop there, and then the next big one is about 26, $27 after that. But of course, if we go over to the monthly here, I just do want to show that long term, it does seem like this one really has found a low after retesting sort of that low that we did see in June of 2021 a few times here. So ultimately, short term direction relative to the monthly is probably up. If we go check it out on the HPDR indicators, we can see that the 5-day, which is going to be closing tomorrow, does show short-term area of interest around $12.50, respectively, or 12.40 if you want to be super exact. If we go over here to the weekly, which, to be fair, there really isn't that much history for this one to really populate, but it does show that this one really can run quite a fair bit. I suspect that the big area of interest is going to be your highs from January of 2023, basically around like $14-15. So that'd be the next big one that I'd be looking at. If we look at our oscillators right here, the main one that I really want to be focusing on is HPDRV, representing volatility. We can see that this one is just really starting to get like actually interesting, above 50 percentile. So again, we see these sort of things in macro reversals, and I believe that that's what we're seeing right now. So this one kind of in the early process of that, or relatively early. I mean, it has moved quite a fair bit already in kind of the more near term. So again, not saying that every day, it's every damn day it's going to go up, and this applies for all of the coins that we're going to look at today. But generally, after 175% move, we've seen a lot of things kind of move even more than that, as far as the majors go. So yeah, this one still up and to the right, and probably next area of interest, like I said, about $14-15 in the very near term, about $12.40 I think it was, but that should change tomorrow when we do get the next closure. So I imagine at that point it probably goes up to $14-15 region. All right, sweet. Next one, we got Quant, symbol QNT. We haven't looked at this one since like 2021, I believe, and very similar signal over here on that 12-hour time frame, that 12-hour strong buy signal. This one just firing off yesterday, actually midday yesterday on Sunday. So this one a little bit more, I guess, what's the word, immature compared to the one that we just looked at. The one that we just looked at on Axie went about 40% already, or a little bit more than 40%. This one's gone about 20.25% thus far, just less than 1 day into this particular signal right here on the Oracle Pro. I think it's also interesting that Monday is the least bullish day for this particular asset. QNT at 31 spot, 25% of all closures closing positively, but a lot, like significant volatility in these numbers as well. I mean, we're talking about like on winning days, 3.5% almost, and on losing days, losing about 2.5%. I mean, I guess that's why people like their altcoins. They move a lot, which does produce opportunity if you can actually fit your liquidity into that highly esteemed altcoin. In this case, Quant, it's a little bit more of an ugly chart compared to, well, actually, no, it's not as ugly of a chart as Axie, but it's just a little bit more discombobulated here is really what I'd be saying. But it does seem like the monthly is putting in a higher low, more importantly. So how would you confirm this? Just really anywhere above on a monthly closing base, about 169 to 170 would do it for me. And at that point, this one, just like the prior one, it's probably going to be headed. It probably has a lot more upside. If we go ahead and look at some of our major fibs, let's see what the major numbers are coming in from here. Yeah, the next big one going to be somewhere around about 166. 170-ish region, and then above there you got 230, and that's the big one actually. That'd be your wick high on a weekly from October of 2022. Above there, this one probably does see prior all-time highs and new all-time highs from there. What else we have? We do have our HPDR bands over here. Again, in the more near term on the 5-day, looking at about 155 as an area of interest. Probably a bit of a short-term pullback there, but that one will close, like I said, tomorrow night, that is. So, from there, probably expand somewhere closer to like 190, somewhere around those October 2022 highs. That's a big one again. But yeah, most importantly here, does seem that it has that same sort of, or not the same sort of, but it does have a higher low on the higher term timeframes here. Just want to see that one follow through. And of course, same sort of reads that we do see on volatility as the prior asset that we just looked at. Crypto coin. And then weekly RSI over here. Yeah, it is going to pull back relatively soon. That's kind of the problem with this one. It's like, how much more upside does it have in the more near term? Does it put in a little bit of an extension towards like 150 or maybe even 165 before a bit of a pullback? Maybe. But ultimately, generally, I'd be looking for this one to go up and to the right as well. It seems that we're kind of going to see the same thing on most altcoins here. And then symbol SEI. So this one's probably the most interesting of the whole bunch. It's the newest one as well, born in August of 2023. And we did cover this one because I already had a chart ready for it. It must have been like 2 or 3 weeks ago on one of the altcoin request videos. And I believe we were looking at the 1618 as an extension target based off of the consolidation below about 30 cents. And it looks like that's been hit as of right now. Pretty constructive thus far, just flagging out and once again getting seemingly ready for another upside thrust here. Just want to see this one basically close above about 40 cents, and at that point, I'd be looking for this one to make its way towards half a buck, 55 cents, before the next sort of potential stops. Looking at the daily right here, again, daily volatility getting up there, but I expect that it can get a little bit more up there. I expect that we're going to see one of these more crazy reads over here. Again, it's certainly on the newer side, so it's like probably have to go to a lower term time frame to get more accurate read. So yes, same thing on the 4 hour as well. Actually, it'd really be same. Probably getting ready for one more move, just flagging out here, kind of simplistic, I suppose. 4 hour RSI will have bearish divergence at some point, but I suspect that it goes for new highs first, and then you get that divergence, maybe somewhere around upper 40s, low 50s, if I had to guess. Looking at our other tools over here, HPDR bands. I'm on the 4 hour time frame because it's just too fucking new. But and even this one's probably too new as well. I mean, the 50% range is like not catching anything, so that tells me that that's probably bunk, or at least not too helpful. I'm trying to find a time frame here that even makes sense on this one, and I think it's just too new and too fucking volatile for this indicator to make any sense of it. It really needs years of history. But if I had to guess, again, you're seeing a lot of things kind of come in around the upper 40s, low 50s, basically. So, one more move to the upside, re-announce size it after that. You know how these newer alts go. They can run sometimes. But it does look like these fib extensions are relevant thus far. We can see kind of price action consolidation around all of the major ones, especially on the extensions here. So I would kind of be running with that still until proven otherwise. Again, like low 50s, I'd probably say next big area of interest. From there, I'd expect a consolidation, and then, you know, if things continue upwards and onwards, well, you can see them on the chart right there. So yeah, a little bit of a different video today. You know what? Let's just quickly go to Bitcoin as well. I mean, we can always do this one quite quickly. Daily time frame, we have seen Bitcoin come back down to the median, which was kind of a short-term area of interest coming off of the failure for Bitcoin to continue on Thursday. It's going to have a chance to actually break below it today. To be fair, it is currently at 43,118. On the index. So if Bitcoin does close below it, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to explore the lower bounds of this current range, you know, somewhere around maybe like maybe even as low as 42 or 41.5 region. But for right now, you know, still overall sideways is the name of the game. I suspect that Bitcoin's both done going up for the year and also done really going down for the year. Like, I wouldn't expect Bitcoin below about $40,000 before end of year. I wouldn't expect Bitcoin above about 44.5 before end of year. Just more or less sideways, which is going to favor the boo laws over, you know, over time into early January. I still think that Bitcoin probably has one more move to the upside. But the overall rally is very close to being done for like a good amount of time before like a long-term consolidation. I'm not saying that it can't continue from there. In fact, I'd be biased towards such things. It's just, you know, it's going to get boring again, just like we saw back on over in what's it called in the summer, basically. Especially in this region right here, right, where Bitcoin was going more or less range mode for 6 months on end. I don't know if it'll be 6 months again, maybe more like 3 to 4 months if I had to guess. But yeah, you know, looking at it right here, okay, fair enough. You know, it's constructive. Bitcoin's still putting in those higher lows, still looking like it's poised for a little bit more. It's just, well, I don't think that it has like significantly more. Before playing out, you know, a greater correction, a greater pullback. But yeah, for right now, as long as it is above 43,100, you know, short term, I guess it does have a chance, you know, to continue up. But I'm not convinced. Wouldn't be surprised to see like a backfill in last week's open somewhere around like 41.5 and bounce up from there into the beginning of 2024, because this is like basically the last trading week of 2023, right? So yeah, Sunday is literally the last day in the year. So fair enough. Next Monday, 1 week from exactly today, it's over. 2024 begins. Yeah, I think this is a good place for me to be leaving off on this particular video. Yeah, the weekly actually still does favor the upside, and still maybe even as much as 52,000. Is that right? 51.4. That sounds like a lot. But I guess that would be in alignment with the March 2022 highs. Or no, that's a little bit lower, around 48 and change. Yeah, fair enough. We'll come to that one when it becomes relevant. I don't think it's relevant for this exact moment right here. Here is a better analysis, or hopefully more helpful portion of this analysis. How would you know that Crown is wrong and Crown should die? If Bitcoin is going to make new highs for this year, or is going to make new lows, well, not necessarily new lows, but going to head like significantly down before end of year, or even this is going to work into beginning of 2024 as well. Well, to the downside, very, very simple here. If Bitcoin trades anywhere below Monday, the 18th of December's low, which is 40,500, and a little bit of change as well, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to put in a corrective move somewhere between like 37 to 38 at minimum. By the same token, to the upside, really just need to see a closure on new highs, like 44.8, let's say. Closing above there, very likely we continue to see volatility expansion, leading towards, well, upside price action. Right now, volatility is actually on the low, so it is setting up, but it can stay here for a little bit. It can stay here for longer, just like we saw more recently in end of December, not December, but end of November, before this last about, what is it, like $5,000, $6,000 move to the upside. Actually $7,000 move to the upside. So, you know, staying down here for a little bit longer does imply that the resolution will be greater overall, but you know, this can go on for another week very easily, maybe another 2 weeks easily. So I expect that Bitcoin's going to be kind of more on the boring side compared to some of the altcoins that we've been looking at today, for the people who happen to give a fuck about those. So fair enough. Yeah, that's a good place for me to be leaving off. As always, I want to wish you the best. Again, a sincere Merry Christmas to all the celebrators out there. And even if you don't celebrate it, Merry Christmas, well, or Happy Holidays, whatever the fuck it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be respectful. And yeah, and whatever holiday that you're celebrating, that I hope you're having a great holiday as well. Kwanzaa, is Kwanzaa still a thing? What happened to Kwanzaa? Is Hanukkah still going on? Probably not. I don't know, but there's like 30 days of it or something. So yeah, we'll shut it off right there before I say some more stupid shit. Again, it's all in good fun. It's all for a silly goose time. And I'll be signing off on that note. As always, take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.